Most men believe that intelligence, effort, and good intentions are enough to create healthy attraction with women. That belief is exactly why many intelligent men end up confused, drained, or quietly disrespected in dating. This video exists to expose a harder truth. Attraction is not destroyed by cruelty or arrogance as often as it is destroyed by misplaced honesty, fear-driven behavior, and a lack of structure. There are 6 mistakes that smart men repeatedly make without realizing the long-term cost. These mistakes do not come from bad character. They come from a desire to connect, to be seen as reliable, and to prove worth early. Unfortunately, those instincts often work against you. The first mistake is oversharing your financial life too soon. Money functions like fragrance in attraction. A subtle hint creates curiosity. Too much, too early, creates suspicion and shifts how you are perceived. When you begin revealing your salary, savings, investments, property, travel habits, or future financial plans before emotional commitment exists, you stop being a man she is discovering and become a resource she is unconsciously evaluating. Human psychology naturally scans for comfort, advantage, safety, and opportunity. The moment numbers enter the picture, that scan intensifies. Many men do not realize that early financial disclosure often triggers indirect testing. She may casually mention stress about rent, a broken phone, car trouble, or sudden expenses, not as a direct request, but as a story placed in your path. The man who rushes to solve these problems often believes he is demonstrating strength, generosity, or leadership. In reality, he is teaching a dangerous lesson that access to him is inexpensive and that financial solutions arrive before emotional investment. Pride drives this behavior, the desire to be the man who can handle everything. But solving financial problems before real commitment trains someone to value what you give more than who you are. This does not mean pretending to be poor or acting cheap. It means discipline. True stability is communicated through behavior, not disclosure. How you manage stress, how consistent your lifestyle is, how you speak about work without boasting, and how calm you remain under pressure reveal far more than numbers ever could. When money comes up early, your response should be clean and grounded. You can show empathy without opening your wallet. You can say that financial stress is real and that she will handle it. If pressure appears, clarity matters. You simply state that you keep financial matters private early on. Here is the quiet truth. A woman who genuinely likes you will respect structure. A woman who is only attracted to what you provide will punish it. Either outcome is a gift because it reveals reality before you invest too deeply. In the next part, we will address the second mistake that silently kills attraction faster than almost anything else. What happens when she pulls away and you feel the urge to chase? The second mistake intelligent men make is chasing her the moment she pulls away. This is one of the most instinctive reactions, and also one of the most damaging. When her replies slow down, her enthusiasm drops, or her presence becomes inconsistent, an internal alarm goes off in a man's mind. The voice sounds urgent and reasonable at the same time. Do something. Fix this. Don't lose her. Try harder. That voice is fear disguised as care. So he increases effort. More messages, more check-ins, more compliments, more reassurance, more emotional availability. On the surface, it looks like investment. Psychologically, it communicates the opposite of strength. Effort driven by fear does not feel loving to the receiver. It feels unstable. It sends a silent message: I do not trust that I am enough unless I prove it constantly. Women are extremely sensitive to emotional positioning. They can feel the difference between calm confidence and quiet desperation even when the words look polite. When you chase, you are not responding to her interest. You are reacting to your anxiety. And reactions are never attractive. There are many reasons a woman may pull back. She could be overwhelmed. She could be uncertain. She could be testing emotional control. She could be distracted by other options, or she could simply be losing interest. The mistake men make is treating all of these situations with the same response: more access, more availability, more emotional labor. This is backwards. Distance should never be rewarded with increased pursuit. Chasing produces a predictable outcome. Respect drops, mystery disappears, emotional tension dies. She no longer wonders about you because you are always there. Even worse, she begins to feel that she controls your emotional state. Once a woman feels she controls you, admiration fades, and without admiration, attraction cannot survive. The mature move is not to become cold, punish her, or play games. It is to remain grounded and return focus to your own life. No drama, no lectures, no passive aggression, just stability. If communication slows, your response becomes simple and clean. A short message that carries no pressure, something like, "Okay, reach out when you're free," and then you actually go silent, not to manipulate, but because your life genuinely continues. This is where outcomes clarify. If she returns, she does so with clearer intent and renewed interest. If she disappears, she was never choosing you fully in the first place. In both cases, you win because you did not abandon yourself to hold on to someone uncertain. A woman does not respect a man who drops his center, his routine, and his emotional grounding just to keep her attention. She may enjoy the power briefly, but she will never feel safe or inspired by it. Attraction grows in the presence of self-possession. In the next part, we will confront a mistake that many men tolerate in the name of peace. Not realizing it slowly destroys attraction and self-respect, at the same time accepting subtle disrespect. The third mistake is accepting disrespect and calling it harmless, emotional, or just a joke. Disrespect almost never arrives loudly at first. It enters quietly, wrapped in humor, sarcasm, or social play. A cutting comment disguised as teasing. A passive-aggressive remark that lands just hard enough to sting. Being talked over, being mocked in front of others. Small demands paired with little appreciation. None of these moments feel dramatic in isolation, which is why they are so dangerous. Many men tolerate these behaviors because they want to avoid conflict. They tell themselves it is not worth addressing. They fear appearing insecure, controlling, or sensitive. But avoiding conflict does not create peace. It creates a standard. And once a standard is set, behavior escalates. Imagine she makes a joke at your expense in a group and everyone laughs. You smile, shrug it off, and stay silent. On the surface, it looks confident. Underneath, the message received is very different. It signals that you will not protect your dignity. Once that signal is sent, she unconsciously pushes further, not because she is cruel, but because she is searching for your backbone. Women relax around men with boundaries. They feel uneasy around men who move to avoid friction. Disrespect is never just emotional when it crosses a boundary, and boundaries that are not enforced cease to exist. A man who repeatedly absorbs disrespect teaches a woman how to treat him. One allowance becomes permission. Permission becomes pattern. The correction must happen early and calmly, not through anger, not through lectures, not through public performances. The most powerful boundary is simple, controlled, and private. You stop, look at her, lower your voice, and say something direct. "Don't speak to me like that." Or, "Be careful with how you talk to me." Short, grounded, no explanation, no justification. When done correctly, this does not create tension, it creates clarity. Women do not lose attraction to men with boundaries. They lose attraction to men without them. A man who respects himself creates a psychological container where a woman can relax without testing limits constantly. If disrespect is accepted once, it will return. Because you have proven it can. Love cannot stabilize without admiration, and admiration cannot exist where dignity is absent. Real harmony is built on self-respect, not silence. In the next part, we will address a mistake that feels romantic and sincere to many men, but quietly destroys desire when revealed too early, letting her see just how deeply you were emotionally invested before she has earned that position. The fourth mistake is allowing a woman to see how deeply you love her far too early. This is often misunderstood, so it needs clarity. This is not about acting cold, distant, or emotionally unavailable. It is about not handing over your emotional center to someone who has not yet earned that level of access. Many men, when they genuinely like a woman, accelerate the emotional pace without realizing it. They begin texting as if she is already their girlfriend. Long messages, daily emotional updates, constant availability, deep expressions of attachment while she is still deciding how invested she wants to be. The intention is pure, excitement, hope, emotional openness, but attraction does not grow from what is given freely. It grows from what is earned through consistency, respect, and shared experience over time. When a man reveals full emotional attachment too early, he appears ready, predictable, and emotionally easy to control. His presence becomes guaranteed, and guaranteed presence is not valued in the same way as chosen presence. Once a woman knows you are deeply attached, she unconsciously risks less. If she replies late, cancels plans, becomes inconsistent, or speaks carelessly, she does not fear losing you. Your emotional availability has already secured her position. At that point, affection stops being a reward and starts feeling like a given, and what is given without effort is rarely protected. This does not mean suppressing affection or playing emotional games. It means pacing emotional disclosure with reality. Avoid statements that lock you into a vulnerable position before mutual commitment exists. Words like, "I've never felt this way," "I can't lose you," "You're different from anyone else," or "I'm falling in love" may feel honest, but they place emotional weight on someone who has not yet proven they can carry it responsibly. Instead, express interest without surrender, warmth without ownership. You can say you enjoy being with her, that you like her energy, that you feel good around her and want to see where things go. This communicates sincerity without dependency, honesty without pressure. Emotional leadership is not about hiding your heart. It is about guarding it until someone demonstrates consistency, respect, and care over time. Love is not the starting line of attraction. It is the reward at the end of it. In the next part, we will look at a mistake that often disguises itself as romance and sacrifice, but quietly signals low value and lack of direction, giving her unlimited access to your time. The fifth mistake is giving a woman unlimited access to your time. This is not a problem of generosity. It is a problem of direction. Many men believe availability equals commitment, and commitment equals attraction. So the moment a woman shows interest, their entire schedule becomes flexible. Gym sessions are skipped, work focus weakens, family, friends, and personal routines are postponed because a message arrives asking what they are doing. At first, this feels like passion, like connection, like not wanting to miss an opportunity. In reality, it communicates something far less attractive. It tells her that your life has no fixed center, that your time is not led by purpose, but by whoever pulls your attention in the moment. Women watch how a man treats his time very closely. Time is a form of leadership. If you do not lead your own schedule, it is difficult for her to trust you to lead anything else. A man with a mission does not rearrange his identity to keep someone entertained. He integrates relationships into a life that already has structure. This becomes most visible when you say yes out of fear. You accept late-night invitations when you are exhausted. You cancel important commitments because you worry that saying no might cost you her interest. Ironically, this is exactly how respect erodes. Saying yes to everything does not make you more valuable. It makes your presence cheap. The mature response is calm direction. You set a rhythm. You offer time, but not all of it. You lead with clarity instead of apology. You can say you want to see her, but tonight does not work. Tomorrow does. No attitude, no justification, no emotional bargaining. This communicates stability, not rejection. Scarcity gives time value. Unlimited access removes it. When your time is treated as meaningful, your presence feels meaningful. Structure creates safety. Self-control creates attraction. A woman feels far more secure with a man who chooses when to engage than with one who is always waiting. Attraction thrives in the presence of a man who respects his own time. In the next part, we will discuss a mistake that silently trains people to treat you worse, over time rewarding bad behavior with attention. Gifts, or repeated second chances. The sixth mistake is rewarding bad behavior with attention. Gifts, or endless second chances. This is one of the most destructive patterns because it feels compassionate on the surface while slowly eroding all respect underneath. Human behavior follows a simple rule. What gets rewarded gets repeated. When a woman behaves poorly and still receives full access to you, you are teaching her that your standards are negotiable. This often shows up in subtle ways. She disappears for days and then returns as if nothing happened, and you respond immediately with enthusiasm. She cancels plans at the last minute without apology, and you say it is fine. She lashes out emotionally during conflict and then becomes sweet, and you pretend the outburst never occurred. In each case, peace is mistaken for progress, but peace without consequence does not create harmony. It creates permission. Many men fear that setting consequences will push her away, so they choose avoidance instead. They forgive too quickly, explain away patterns, and hold on to potential rather than reality. They date the version of her they hope will appear instead of responding to the version standing in front of them. Explanations become excuses, emotions become justification, patterns get ignored. Forgiveness is healthy. Forgiveness without boundaries is self-betrayal. When there is no cost to disrespect, inconsistency, or emotional volatility, those behaviors become safe, and safe bad behavior always escalates. Consequences do not require anger, punishment, or lectures. They require adjustment, calm, clean, and firm. If she disappears and returns casually, you can say you do not enjoy sudden disappearances and the consistency matters to you. If disrespect appears, you state clearly that you are fine with respect and will step back without it. Then you follow through. You do not argue for respect. You live in a way that makes disrespect expensive. Access to you is the reward, not the guarantee. Many men keep giving chances because they are addicted to hope, but character is revealed through patterns, not promises. Your job is not to fix or rescue. It is to protect your peace. Women respect men who protect their peace without cruelty. Strength shows through standards, not through tolerance. In the final part, we will tie all 6 mistakes together and show how correcting them changes the entire dynamic of your relationships, and why this shift immediately alters how women experience you. When you correct these 6 mistakes, something fundamental shifts in your relationships with women, not because you become colder, harder, or manipulative, but because you become grounded. Attraction reorganizes itself around men who move from fear to structure, from reaction to intention, and from emotional leakage to self-respect. Oversharing your finances no longer happens because you understand that stability is shown, not announced. Chasing disappears because you trust that connection cannot be forced without losing yourself. Disrespect stops early because your dignity is non-negotiable. Emotional overinvestment slows because you allow attachment to grow in proportion to proof. Your time becomes valuable because it is led by purpose, and bad behavior loses its power because it no longer gets rewarded with access. Together. These changes create a man who is calm instead of anxious, warm instead of needy, present instead of desperate. Women feel this immediately, not logically, but emotionally. They sense when a man is centered in his own life. They sense when he does not need to bargain for affection. That sense creates respect, and respect is the soil where real attraction grows. This does not guarantee that every woman will choose you. That is not the goal. The goal is that the women who stay do so because they genuinely value you, not because you are convenient, forgiving, or easy to control. You stop being used. You stop being tested endlessly. You stop feeling confused by mixed signals. The dynamic becomes cleaner because you are clean in your boundaries. Many men think being kind is enough. Kindness without standards is not kindness. It is avoidance. True emotional strength is the ability to care without collapsing, to forgive without erasing yourself, and to love without losing direction. Women do not fall for perfection. They fall for presence backed by structure. If you recognize yourself in any of these mistakes, that awareness alone is already progress. Change does not require drama. It requires consistency. Small shifts, applied daily, reshape how people respond to you. If this video resonated with you, take a moment to reflect on which mistake has cost you the most in the past. Share it in the comments. Like the video if it gave you clarity. Subscribe if you want more psychology-based guidance on attraction and relationships.